And we are back. We have a very special guest today. She's a SoulCycle instructor, personal trainer. She has her own fitness platform that we're going to talk all about. Daniela Dib, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, awesome. So let's chat a bit about your background in fitness. Obviously, you're very accomplished. You have a lot of different things going on. You've done a lot of different things in the fitness industry. How did that all start for you as a kid? Were you an athlete and stuff like that?
I was a professional dancer growing up. So I went to Canada's National Ballet School, started there when I was 11. And then I started training at various ballet schools. They have like summer intensives. So I went to Boston Ballet, Houston Ballet, and American Ballet Theater, which is in New York. And I had a brief stint with Texas Ballet Theater before I sort of transitioned into film and television. And I was dancing in quite a few I had lots of opportunities to be in feature films for dancing roles, which did lead to some acting roles too, such as Center Stage, Turn It Up, Sucker Punch, Smallville, Supernatural, The X-Files. I had a little part in that. And yeah, there were so many amazing opportunities that came out of that world. And that pushed me into getting my visa to move to the States. So I was on an O1 visa between New York and Los Angeles for 6 years. And that transitioned me into fitness. I got certified in yoga. I already had my Pilates, and then I sort of found SoulCycle by accident, as I think a lot of great things in life happen accidentally. They approached me through my dance agency in Los Angeles. I went and tried the class, absolutely fell in love, got a spot in their training program, and actually didn't pass that round of training. It was very intense. And they require you to just be like in crazy shape, especially your cardio system just needs to be like the top. You're teaching so many classes a week. You are also talking and motivating while you're teaching. So your athletic stamina, I had more of a yoga and dance stamina that I'd been working on for so many years. And this required something quite different. So I went back again to New York to try again. This time I did pass, and I started teaching in New York City. Then they moved me to Los Angeles, knowing that I was going to come back to Vancouver and open up the first SoulCycle here. So I ended up doing that. That would be almost 4 years ago now. And I was, teaching full time. Between that, running my own classes as well. At the time, I didn't have a name. I just would be like Daniela Dib Fitness. And then the pandemic hit. And obviously all fitness instructors, and of course everyone, whatever field you were in, your industry really felt a dramatic shift for fitness instructors that were so used to teaching in person, and your sort of job and the way that you conducted your business was as many people as possible in a room at once. Like I would see hundreds of people a week, and it was such a dramatic shift to be like, you can't see anyone. But I still, of course, have the passion to teach, and also I didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. So the way my fitness platform, which is called DibFit, sort of came about was very organically. It is something I've always wanted to do, but there was a huge level of natural transition. I started teaching on Instagram Live every day at noon, just to whoever wanted to jump in. It was just free. It was free. I was just popping on, and I was doing an hour-long session, and it started to grow and grow, which was really cool. I would have hundreds of people tuning in to do the workouts. Wow. And I started to realize, I was like, oh, this is actually something that I could do and something that I could translate into a business. And I had no idea how to start a business, and I just sort of figured it out along the way. Still I'm figuring it out. There's always roadblocks and hurdles for absolutely anything that gets started, basically from, it's just like a little seed, and you just keep watering it every day and hope that it blooms into something. So now it's really become my own platform, and I still lead my live daily workouts, and I have it as a closed member group, and it's subscription based. And that's going to even expand from there as COVID changes and as things change. However, I do think that the fitness industry has shifted in some ways to being a bit more online, and that people see that there is a value to an online experience. It still is hype, community based, and you still get the same level of energy and excitement, because that's ultimately what we crave when we're in in-person experiences. If you're doing a group fitness class, you want people beside you to be giving you energy and fueling you so that you're motivated to stay in the workout, and that's what I provide on a screen.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool, I think, with the pandemic, just sort of figuring this out. I mean, we never thought we'd be in this situation in the fitness industry, obviously. So I think with the way that the industry has adapted has been really cool. And like you said, people seeing value, and you could still get a great workout at home, which I think a lot of people didn't really realize until this pandemic happened. So you mentioned that obviously you started as a dancer. When you were growing up
Yeah.
in dance, like did you ever picture yourself as a coach? Was that something that you were passionate about?
No, it definitely, I always, and the cool thing is that while I am a coach and, motivating and, leading people through workouts, I really don't just see it as being a fitness coach. So much of my stuff is about motivational speaking and about really encouraging you outside of a workout. Like I always said I don't need a bike to do what I do. And then I kind of had the opportunity to prove that to myself that we could just do it with no equipment on the floor, wherever you are. So in some ways, I'm still doing what I grew up doing, which was performing.
Yeah.
And I've always like loved being in front of people, and I've always loved performing. But becoming a coach wasn't something that I thought that I would do. It's a really cool transition though. And it's also fun that it incorporates all of the skills that I grew up learning. It does incorporate musicality. I love music so much. I love dancing. I love moving my body. I love performing. I love making people feel good about themselves. And I love being fit. So it's like somehow it's all come together
Yeah.
in this really nice package.
That's great. And how did you learn originally how to, I guess, properly exercise?
Oh, like when was the first time I started learning?
Yeah. Or like, I mean, obviously you were in dance, so you were very
Yeah.
active doing that stuff. But as far as like exercising in a gym or a group fitness type environment, what was that like for you when you very first started?
Well, the really awesome part of especially going to the national, they did a lot of cross training with us just from a very young age. Like we were in classes that were bar based just on the floor, which is very similar now to Pilates. And we were obviously stretching a lot, which incorporates a lot of yoga. And so that like sort of started early. And then as I progressed in my fitness career, I would just find things that I enjoyed to do, and then I'd want to learn how to do them as well. So I'm not someone that goes to the gym and will teach you how to like bench press really
Yeah.
heavy. My stuff is a lot more body weight based or pretty lightweights. Like I just have 10 pounds that I use at home. I
Yeah.
mean, you can even travel with those, as well as ankle weights and resistance bands, and you can still get an amazing session from doing that. And there's so much value to doing both, of course, and there's tons of value in cardio work. So when you find that mix and you find what works for you, I guess to answer your question, it's really just been about pursuing the things that I actually enjoy to do. I don't
Yeah.
teach anything I don't actually personally enjoy doing. Like I get fulfillment out of it on a personal level as well. And that led me to be curious about how can I teach this? How can I coach this? And what does that mean to be a coach in that field? So yeah, that's how I
That's
sort
great.
of fitness translated into how I started early.
And how do you, as a trainer yourself, how do you stay motivated to work out?
Oh, by having a community. That's
Yeah.
what everything is about for me. Knowing that you're incorporating motivational speaking, and I keep coming back to that point because it really does. That really is my passion, and I think fitness is an extension of that. And I stay motivated because when I'm speaking motivation, like saying encouraging words or phrases, those are the things that I'd want to be hearing. And those are the things that keep me going too. So I'm really just speaking from my heart when I'm coaching. And I think that that translates quite well into other people resonating with me. So that's how I stay encouraged, knowing that there's a community around me and the
Yeah.
words that I'm saying are ones that actually resonate with me and keep me feeling motivated.
That's great. Do you have any advice for someone who's maybe new to exercise or just thinking
Yeah.
about getting into exercise, but might be sort of nervous about either
Yeah.
going to a gym or starting on a kind of platform online?
Yeah, a few awesome tips. Number one, be realistic. A lot of people, especially in January, trainers see this every January. Everyone's like, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. Like, summer bod, here I come. I'm not going to eat any shit ever. I'm not drinking. I'm working out 5 days a week for 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
And, you're very motivated, And for the first week, you're in it. Second week, you're in it. By the third week, like maybe you miss a day. By the fourth week, you've missed a few days. And then that feeling of, oh, well, I tried to do that 5 days a week for 1 hour a day and no sugar, no carbs, no this, and it didn't work. So I guess I failed. So I'm just going to drop the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you set yourself up with these super unrealistic expectations, you are going to ultimately be disappointed if you don't hit them. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive for more, but I'm saying be realistic about where you're starting. If you have never worked out before, say to yourself, I'm going to work out 4 days a week for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
10 minutes of moving my body, 10 minutes. Everyone has 10 minutes. Even if you are the president of the United States, kind of busy, you have 10 minutes to move your body. Like, I just don't believe that people don't. So, and if you can't find 10 minutes in your day, then you need to like evaluate what your day is looking like, because that's insane.
Yeah.
So realistic goals to get you started. And number 2, an accountability buddy. So important to have someone that is hyping you up and cheering you on. And that's why I say community is so important, because when you have someone or a bunch of people that are holding you accountable, you are so much more likely to show up. That's why I love including fitness challenges and trackers. And I get all of my members to always comment after they do videos, because it's like them saying, hey, just to let you know, I did this. And I can reply and say, just to let you know, I think you're a badass. Number 3, you want to make sure that you're doing workouts that you like. You're not going to go and do things that you don't enjoy doing. If you hate cycling and you buy a bike and have a 6-month membership to cycling classes, you're probably not going to do it. If you enjoy doing it, that's a great place to start. Now, when I say enjoy, I do not mean that it's easy. And I don't mean that you are so in love with it, obsessed with it right at the start, because there's a good chance you won't be. But I mean, like, it's bearable. For example, I hate running. It hurts my shins. I always get shin splints after, hurts my Achilles. Like, it does not work for me. If someone said, Daniela, I need you to be in like a running club, you're going to run a marathon, most likely I would kind of start it, hurt myself, and then be like, I'm not doing that again. So then I would feel unsuccessful and not want to go back to it. But I know that biking is low impact and it feels good on your joints, and you can always just sit in the saddle if you need to, and you can add up more resistance to make it harder. Therefore, I know that's something that works for me, and therefore it is something I'm motivated to go back and do. So you want to have those things, be realistic, have an accountability buddy, and do stuff you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's great. What about in terms of nutrition? What kind of ideas or tips would you give someone who's maybe just starting? Because obviously that's a huge mountain for people to sort of get over, and that's going to be a big piece of their results. Is there anything that you sort of do coaching that wise?
So I'm not a nutritionist. So I don't offer like meal plans or anything like that. I just have recipes, and I do work with other nutritionists that will provide their input, and I have them do seminars. But as for myself, I don't create people's meal plans, and I don't give that advice, because again, I'm not a nutritionist. But what I would say is that if you don't want to do a crazy meal plan, that, what you can just start to do, and this is easy for everyone to do, is start eliminating the things that don't make you feel good. So, for example, most of us know that if you eat a bunch of white bread and a bunch of sugar and you have soda and you drink alcohol, you're probably not going to feel as good the next day. If you don't feel as good the next day, you're less likely to be motivated to put on your spandex and do your workout. So you could look at it in a sense of, I'm doing this so that I feel good, so that my skin feels good, etc. So in terms of, nutrition, you want to be eating foods that, 1, make you feel good, and 2, are as earth-based as can be. So the farther away you get from processed, the better it is. The more salads that you're eating, the more, things that are coming from the earth, that just ultimately is a better route to go than eating a bunch of processed foods. And this is all things that we know. But also to remember that very small changes can have very big results. You might think that cutting or eliminating or scaling back on sugar for a month isn't really going to do anything, but I guarantee that every single day that you do that, you're going to feel a little better, you have a little more pep in your step. You're not going to have those crazy sugar crashes. Cutting out caffeine or having reduced caffeine really eliminates those crashes that we have, like rather than relying on kind of needing that up. So just starting to scale back on those things and see how you feel.
Yeah, I think that's all great advice. And I think people the smaller steps and stuff like that are great
Yeah.
to start with, right? So
Yes.
you mentioned this intense soul cycle training. Uh,
Yes.
so what is that like? Are you in the studio for like hours every day, sort of?
Yes.
And I guess this is sort of like an audition process, correct?
Yes. Oh, it is, the whole thing is an audition process.
Wow.
It is, it's very intense. They do auditions. And I mean, granted, this was, pre-COVID. I have no idea what their process would be like now, but pre-COVID, they
Yeah.
would audition hundreds of people. They would narrow it down to a very select group, and you would be in a very intense training. You were receiving every kind of training in there, from anatomy, music, basically DJing, because you're creating your own playlist, and of
Wow.
course how to teach on and off the bike. You do have weights in class, they're light weights, but you're learning how to use those too, and to teach a motivating class that inspires people to want to come back and have that experience again and again. And because of that training and the intensity of that, I believe it really did help set me up for success launching my own business. It gives you a wonderful platform. And I also had that from dance, which is the discipline
Mhm.
to push through the discomfort of starting. So much we just get uncomfortable at the beginning. It's uncomfortable to start new things. We can get discouraged. You will inevitably experience setbacks. Everyone does.
Sure.
And if you allow those setbacks to be sort of a period where it should be a comma, that's where the good stuff in your life will stop, without you giving it its full potential. And I think that we should all love ourselves enough to be willing and brave enough to see how far we can go.
Yeah. Do you have anyone you kind of look up to in the fitness industry or fitness icons that you sort of idolized when you were younger or anything like that?
Oh, totally. I mean, I take so many people's classes, and
Yeah.
well, I did. And, I love Akin and Angela of AA Army, based in New York and Los Angeles. There's just, I mean, there's so many amazing um, fitness personalities, fitness coaches. There's so many in Vancouver. Jana's amazing in Vancouver. Um, Ariel Swan, who opened up her own studio here, which I think is so amazing. I really do go to lots of people's classes, and really enjoy supporting other instructors as well. Everyone that teaches at Soul Cycle, if I would take their class, I'd learn something from everybody. You can always learn something.
Great. So you mentioned some of these TV shows you've got to work on, X-Files and
Yeah.
Supernatural and Sucker Punch. So some really, really cool, sort of iconic shows. What was your favorite show that you got to work on so far?
My favorite show is The Haunting of Bly Manor, which was the Netflix show. And I played the Lady of the Lake Ghost. It was so much fun. I was on it for, I guess, around 5 months. It was really
Wow.
challenging because there was a lot of stunt work and prosthetics on my face the entire time. And we shot in the winter. And it was mostly outdoors.
Wow.
And I was going into a lake. So it was really cool. I met some absolutely remarkable people, such as Kate Siegel. She's amazing. Victoria, Amelia, just the whole cast was incredible, and Mike Flanagan. And it was a very exciting opportunity. I'm so appreciative of the chance to be a small part of something that was a really cool Netflix creation.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go through a fun little speed round of
sure.
questions, mostly fitness related, but some not. Okay.
Okay.
So favorite glute exercise?
Oh, donkey kicks.
Actually, this is outside of the speed round, but you mentioned earlier having to put your
Yeah.
spandex on to work out. Is
Yeah.
is it a requirement to wear spandex to do one of your classes?
Absolutely not, but highly encouraged.
All right, I was hoping you would say absolutely. Yes, it is.
Absolutely
Uh,
not, but highly
highly
encouraged. We'll
encouraged.
put it
Okay, fair. We'll go with
highly.
that. What do you listen to when you work out on your own?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Who's your favorite superhero?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Roman, good choice. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Favorite TV show?
Oh my God, so many. It's great.
Schitt's Creek, great show. I
Yes,
just finished watching that actually.
so good.
I was like way behind, but I'm so glad that I finally watched it all.
Yeah.
Favorite squat variation?
Oh, sumo.
Sumo, good choice. What are you gonna be for Halloween this year?
Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. Good. This goes with your previous answer. What's
Yeah.
what's the best cardio machine? Are you going to say bike?
Yes.
Okay, bike. What's your favorite cartoon growing up?
Oh, goodness. That's a great question.
Sometimes I ask some really nerdy questions on here.
Favorite cartoon? Oh my gosh. I feel like I watched a lot of the Disney stuff. Is that a cartoon?
Yeah, Disney movies. Yeah, all
Is
the
that
Disney movies
right?
are great. Yeah,
So then
sure.
I'd probably Snow White.
Snow White. Okay.
Yeah.
Who wins in a fight, Sailor Moon or the Powerpuff Girls?
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. Good choice. Okay, let's plug your stuff. So where can we find you on social media, and how do we get set up on DibFit?
Thank you so much. So I am on Instagram at Daniela Dib Fitness. My subscription-based platform is at DibFit member. And there's a 1-month free trial for you to come and try. There's over 300 workouts already up there. I do daily live workouts on the page that anyone can jump into. And if you can't make it live, they all stay up for you to do later on your own schedule.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was so great to be here. Appreciate it.